Perception is everything in life. And if you think about Flesh and Blood TCG like it's a video game, it has been in early access from 2019 all the way through 2020. And in 2021, it's finally going to have all the game pieces added to make it the final complete game that it was meant to be. And I want to tell you guys this because if you think about Flesh and Blood and you think it has potential, but it's not quite there yet, well, just hang on to your seat because honestly, just continue with the ride because it's going to be something amazing, even more amazing in 2021 and beyond. Now, I'm going to start off and tell you a little bit about what I'm doing at my current time in December 2020, and then I'm going to give you more and tell you what's going to happen or what I think is going to happen in the future. Now, currently, it's been December and I wanted to treat myself a little bit, so I bought a new camera for the channel, bought a little $30 webcam, thought it was nice. I bought a couple new light bulbs so my walls look white instead of, a little beige. And, I have to like them. And honestly, guys, light bulbs are important in life. Trust me. Like when you buy light bulbs, not all light bulbs were made the same. There's a couple different light bulbs that are better than the other ones. You just have to keep that in mind. And yep, I moved my desk back towards the wall. I'm still in the same room. Don't freak out. I'm still the normal guy in a normal room. This is not an office. I have not gotten paid to make a studio place. I'm still that same old guy in the same old room. It's just I moved the desk back and now it's closer to the wall, and now my walls are white because I actually bought the correct light bulbs in life. So yeah, it's pretty good, and I've shaved up. I'm starting to look clean a little bit. I had to clean my room a little bit. It was getting a little bit too far bad. I know I've showed you my room in the past, and it looks pretty bad. So I wanted to clean up my room and start the New Year 2020 out great. Now I want to start off and tell you about my telling you that Flesh and Blood is going to be something great in 2021 and the full game has not yet been released. And I know you guys might not know what early access means. And in the video game world, early access means they're maybe, let's say they have a video game, right? And it's 70% done. Well, they'll release it to the public early at that 70% point, and then the people will play it, give feedback, and then they'll finish the last 30% in like 1 or 2 years, and then they'll finally release it. So what I'm telling you is this: Flesh and Blood at the end of 2020, I think it's only 70% complete, or maybe it's 80%, but it's not fully complete. The whole game isn't complete. And if you don't believe me on that point, just check out a couple of really cool news clips from James White. And he's said multiple times in multiple different ways that the Monarch product in 2021 is going to blow people's minds. It's a big reveal, and there's different mechanics that are going to change with Flesh and Blood when that product gets released. So right now we only have a subset of the game, but that's going to add a whole different element. And what really intrigues me about this, and I've talked to a bunch of different people in the community and I've gotten a bunch of different insights, but he said that it's going to change the storyline, and the everything is going to be wrapped up. So you're going to have like the lore and the mechanics, and everything's kind of intertwine and kind of make sense in that area, but it's not going to change the game too much. I mean, the vagueness of this is just perplexing. It just blows my mind. It really is something for discussion, and please down below let me know what you think he's gonna do, or if you work for Legend Story Studios, hit me up at bronsonsblood@yahoo.com. I'd love for you to get the inside scoop and figure out what's gonna happen to Monarch, because I'm honestly on the edge of my seat, just like, what's gonna happen? It's nuts. Like, this game is already amazing. Let's start out where we currently are, right? Flesh and Blood is amazing. I like the mechanics. I love the lore. I love everything about it. The collectability. It has all these things that I love. And I know that there's a lot of people out there and they have their different perceptions and different things. And yeah, they might have different ideas of what they would want in the game. But I'm telling you this, man, is that if it's this damn good now, I can't imagine how much better it's going to be in 2021. I can't imagine the what's going to happen. And if you think about Legend Story Studios as a whole, they seem very humble to me when they even launched their product, Welcome to Wrath or Arcane Rising, Crucible War. I didn't hear them like say, "Oh, well, this is the best thing ever and we've waited years to do this." No. Honestly, guys, Monarch, James White in the interview with Chris Booley, he said, "Hey, we've always had this from the beginning. This is what we wanted to do. Welcome to Wrath, Arcane Rising, Crucible, and Monarch. We wanted it in that order." He said it so fast. He said it extremely fast because it did feel very authentic. And I feel like all those pieces, right? If you think about what he said in the past, is that each new set has a new thing that it's supposed to do. It's wanting to do this specific purpose. And in Welcome to Wrath, it was the melee people, the melee, the art, the not the archer, but like the melee people. Then Arcane Rising was all about, magic and we're going to do arcane damage and all that stuff. And Crucible was kind of like a subset that kind of, helped with those beginning things. But I'm telling you guys, if Arcane Rising was arcane stuff, that added so much more to the game. I can't even imagine what Flesh and Blood would be without like our Arcane Rising and the arcane abilities and the wizard and everything. So when that is what was not really hyped up, what is Crucible of War gonna be? It's gonna be nuts. And we've also heard many times that the lore, crazy shit is gonna happen with the lore of Flesh and Blood. Things are gonna go down, people are gonna die, things are gonna go crazy, it's gonna be mayhem. Viserys doing some crazy shit in the demonastery, and all these people are just like seeing a bunch of random stuff come out of the ground and really bad things happening and people dying everywhere, and it used to be a really peaceful place for 100 years, but now it's like a lot of bad stuff's happening. So I'm telling you, not only has James White said this in multiple areas, the lore is really, you know that's really hyping up. And if you think about like in the set releases, and James White said this multiple times, and I hope you have seen this because it's amazing. It's like it escalates. So Welcome to Wrath is like, hey, welcome here. Arcane Rising is like, hey, the bad people are coming out of the ground. They're coming, right? Arcane Rising, like the arcane powers are coming. And then Crucible War is like, get ready to go to war because the bad people are coming from Arcane Rising. And then, Monarch is gonna be like the war. This is gonna be the war. And I know I'm regurgitating a lot of stuff, but I don't know if you guys are as hyped as I am for the Monarch product and the future of Flesh and Blood TCG. And I wanted to tell you guys this because it's very easy to lose perception. It's very easy to say, oh, well, Flesh and Blood, I already checked that out, and, it is what it is, but it's nothing special. Yeah, that opinion, fine. But honestly, if you look at how the game has really evolved through 2019 through 2020, it's really insane how much stuff has happened in a short period of time. And I started my YouTube channel in October 2020. And back then, I always wanted the game to do good. I always thought the game was going to do long term because I thought it was good. And I thought it really had something special, really has legs. But the amount of shit that I've seen with this game, like being on TCG Player now, and the Channel Fireball thing, and everyone getting hyped, and honestly the community has grown on all of the different areas online, like double or triple what they used to be back 2 months ago. It's just honestly it's a ridiculous amount of growth. And I really like before, early on when I was talking about Flesh and Blood, I was like, hey, I think it's got legs. It's probably going to do good. Fingers crossed. And now my fingers ain't crossed. My fingers are nowhere crossed because I don't need them to be crossed. I know this game is going to be something. I know it's going into that direction. I'm not worried about it gaining traction or anything. And, there's a lot of bashing in the community. And I'll tell you this, I want to go into detail on another thing, but a lot of people talk about how Flesh and Blood is all this collectability, right? And they're talking from a early, 2020 vibe of when, people, it was hard to get the products, and the product spiked. I'm not gonna lie, this product was expensive and it was harder to get in a sealed box. But guys, it's all about perception. You think in 2021 people are really going to have a problem getting their hands on Welcome to Wrath and Arcane Rising Unlimited versions? Are you serious? This game is going to be printed a lot. People are going to buy it a lot as the game grows. The cards are going to be available. And I don't blame people in the past for having those perceptions. I don't blame them because if you looked at the top 8, if you looked at the top 4 of any of the national tournaments, people had at least $500 decks. Like that's really conservative. $500 decks at those times. And that kind of irritated me, and it irritates a lot of people that the game is expensive because of the collectability. But I want you to know this is that, like I said in the beginning, perception's everything. And it's only a matter of time before things change and to where people are going to hold on to these old fucking mindsets that they should really just erase. Because if you look at the game now, is it hard to get your cards? Is it hard? It's not hard, man. The Welcome to Wrath, it might fizzle out of supply, and they might have to reprint it, and you might not be able to get it, for a little bit, but they're going to be printing it for a good amount of time, from what we've been communicated, until everyone is able to get the products they want. And if you look at it from that standpoint, you got to change your perception. This game is not too valuable for you to play. Does it have a collectability aspect for the first printing of the cards? Yes, but that's a good thing. But can you get whatever cards you want, going forward? That's going to happen. And it's just like me in this room. Like, you might have seen a little beigey room, and it might be in a little dark, and you might have not seen like the most clear image of my face, but it just takes a little bit of time and a little bit more things, mechanics to be added for it to be better. And I really want to end off with that. It's that I think that I think that the Monarch product and what Flesh and Blood is really going to, bloom and blossom, and right now it's in like a cocoon, and it's emerging out into what it's going to be, into a butterfly. I feel like that's really not talked about enough. And if you know anyone, or if you are someone who's had a perception of Flesh and Blood and you're like, well, I like it, but X, or I like it but Y, or I like it but Z. I'll tell you, X, Y, and Z, they're going out the window. Those things are not going to matter anymore. There's a lot of these concerns and criticisms that, even myself, I've even said, I was like, hey, I don't like the decks are $500 each. I don't like that. I've made so many different criticisms. I'm like, hey, the pro scene. I don't like how I don't see like these national tournaments. I don't see the videos online. I don't like that. I've said so many things, and I was justified at the time to saying those things, but since I've said that, I'm telling you is that I've really seen the game grow, and I've seen it starting to do new things, and it's really gonna be the next big TCG going forward. And I really want to end it too by saying, like, Legend Story Studios is an amazing team. They really care about the community. They really care about their product. They're passionate about this. This is a passion project for them. And when you see all these things, when you see a team that is passionate about what they do it for doing it and for doing something great instead of the money. And then you see the mechanics. The mechanics are amazing. It's a really cool and fun game to play. You see the collectability where you put money into a thing and it doesn't instantly lose it as expense. It's something that can retain its value. And when you look at the lore, the amazing lore, and all the cards relate to each other and tell a story, and there's something big going on. When you take all these things into consideration, you have an amazing game. When you also have a looming thing in the future in 2021 with the Monarch product making it an even better game than it is now, and supposedly that 2021 Monarch product, it's gonna be like the biggest thing that's occurred so far, it's what everything has been leading up to, is the war. You have this situation where it's an amazing time to be in the Flesh and Blood community and playing the game and really keeping up with what it is, because it seems like it's gonna be awesome in the future, and it's really gonna be the completed game. And everything so far, it's all been early access, man. It's early access, and we're only about to see the completed game. Thanks for watching.